Hello, it's Sally here at Dotty B. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me today. Today I'm going to be talking about letters and writing and adding letters and words to your stitcheries. Because it's always nice to do a stitchery and sometimes put a little word or something on, or you choose your word first and then you stitch around it. So I am going to show you one of the methods that I use to pop words and letters onto my stitcheries. So I've just got a little piece of linen, some thread, and then I'm just going to pop those out of the way for now because I'm going to do the drawing of the letters first. You can this is squared paper, which is easy to use, but you can also use just regular lined paper. It's also handy to have some tracing paper as well. I've always got a pad of tracing paper handy to use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the lined paper. I'm just going to take a piece off of the pad and a ruler. So my letters are going to be approximately the width of my ruler. I think my ruler's 1 inch. So what I'm going to do is I'll start here, just draw some lines down my page. And I'm going to, on my piece, I'm going to put hello. So I'll need 5 letters. Well, no, I won't. I'll need 4 letters because we only need to do the L ones. So I'll need 4 columns. I don't think that one's very straight. Right. So that's the width of my letter. You can do them any width you want. I've actually got a smaller ruler somewhere. Yeah, I've got a smaller one here. Don't know whether this is 1/2 inch or, oh, it's not 1/2 inch. It's 2 centimetres, that one is. So you could use that if you wanted to go smaller. I find the smaller you go, the harder it is. But obviously sometimes you only have room for a certain size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the big letters first, and I might go on to smaller letters as well. Yeah, I think I might. So I'm going to do an H. I'm going to do all mine in lowercase, and I'm just going to try and think how tall I want my letter. This is my piece of fabric. So I'm going to put hello here, hello there. So it's going to go diagonally. So that's the room. That's kind of like the room that I've got. If I visualize it and just kind of mark it with my nail, I can just vaguely see. So H, E, L, L. So I might have to squeeze them up a little bit, but I might just H, E, L, L, O. It'll just fit. The L's won't take up as much room. I can do the L's thinner. So it's really up to you. You don't have to do them all this size, because when you're writing, when you're handwriting, that's not a very good one, but when you're handwriting, the L's aren't as wide as some of the other letters. So you don't have to all have them uniform. And that's how I like them, because I like it to look kind of handwritten. I don't want everything to be uniform, but obviously you can do it uniform as well. So I'm going to start just planning how high I want my H to start with, because that's going to be my tallest, well, along with the L's, I suppose. If I take them up, I might not even take the L's up as far as the H. I kind of want my H to be like that. Okay, there's my H. They all come out differently. I like that one, they're here actually, because I like the loop on that one, but it's not happened on this one. It's really strange how, you might have to practice a couple of times. I usually practice a few times. There you go. And if you kind of go over it again, you kind of get the shape that you want. That's how I do my letters, by kind of going over a few times until I get the shape that I like. So that I like that. You can see it hasn't taken up all of the room, and I don't mind that. You might want to, if you are wanting to do the whole thing there. That I don't like, so I'm going to have to change that. So I'm going to go like that. There, that I do like. It's just a case of practicing, and obviously this is not your final example. You can change it as much as you like, and when you trace the letter, you're only tracing the bits that you want to appear on your stitchery. So I do like that one. I like that one as well. So we'll see how we go. I might choose that one and then go for others along the way. So we're going to do an E. So it's quite easy to do the E. It really is just the loop. The problem is I don't like that one because my L's are going to be quite thin, and I don't think that's going to stand out very much. Right, I'm going to do a little bit. Can you see how I've done that wider? Okay, even wider, and there, that's what I like. I like that one. There we go. So I'm going to go for that one, definitely this one. Okay, let's do an L. So I'm going to start at the top again and just, can you see how it kind of, it's not the same as an E, but it does kind of, it is the same drawing technique as the E. But I like that. Okay, and I'm going to use that twice. That's fine. If you wanted different L's, you can always do another one. They'll never work out the same, will they? There you go, that's completely different. Okay, and then my O. So I want my O to be about that. And I want a little curl on it, like that. I like that. I'm not even going to try and do another one because that's the one. Okay, there's my letters. So hopefully they will all fit on, because I've not taken up all of the room. I'm sure they'll all be fine. So my next step is to trace them. So I've already got a little piece of tracing paper ripped out here. So I need to just decide, I'm going to have that E, that L, that O, and I just need to decide which H. Which one do I like? Them both. I think that one is more in keeping with the E. Yeah, I'm going to go for this one. So all you do is you trace the letter. And I'm going to trace it as I want it to appear on my stitchery, and hopefully I will be able to see how it fits. I can always shuffle them up, and I can always put them apart. Okay, so there's my letters, and if I have a look at that, it fits perfectly. That's just how I want it. That's perfect. So what I'm going to do now is just turn this over, and you just need to trace over your letters again. Okay, so put that away, get my fabric. I'm just going to have a quick look at it. Do I want it that way even? It will go that way. I did it that way because I thought I wouldn't fit it all in, but I'm just wondering, I'm deciding I'm going to have it this way, because what I'm going to do is I am going to embellish eventually. Probably won't do it today. Well, I won't do it today, but I am going to actually embellish this. And what I might do is I might make a greetings card with it. So, or yes, like a greetings card, obviously not a happy birthday. You could put happy birthday on here. You could and you could make it into a greetings card. You could make it into a little banner, little picture hanging. But it really is just a guide, just to show you that you know how easy it is to put wording on your stitcheries. Right, so all I'm doing is going back over the lines again. Now I'm doing this, and my stitches are going to be quite, can you, oh, it's quite, okay, I'm just going to go over it a little bit. I can see it, I'm not sure whether you can see it or not. I don't know whether the camera's picked it up. It's quite faint. I mean, at this stage you could use a friction pen and then iron it off later. My stitching is going to be thick enough that it's going to cover all of the pencil marks, so I'm happy to do it with pencil. There we go, hopefully you can see that. Right, so this is quite a large letter. If I was doing a small letter, I would be doing backstitch, a tiny backstitch. This is quite a large letter, so I can do backstitch, I can do seam stitch, I could do couching. I think I'm going to show you all of the methods that I use on this piece. The first technique I'm going to show you is couching. So I'm going to do the H in couching. I'm just going to grab my needle. I'll need 2 needles actually. Because I need one for my thicker thread, and then I'm going to be using one for my thin thread to couch on. So I'm going to start, just pop a knot in it. I'm going to start here. I'm just going to leave that up there. And I need another thread colour. Well, you can use the same colour or you can use a contrasting colour. I'm going to use, what am I going to use? I have got this cotton, which is, it's fairly similar actually. It's like a peachy colour. Where's scissors? So I'm going to use that to couch over. You can use the same thread, but this is a six thread, get my words all mixed up, a DMC type of thread. This is just a sewing thread, your machine thread. But you can use whatever you like. You can use wool. You can use this. You can use perlé, anything. Right, so I'm just going to come up just near where the other one is. And all I'm doing is sewing over this thread so that it holds it down. Every so often. Oops, missed my needle, lost my needle. Just have to be careful that this thread here doesn't get tangled up. If you keep it in view, then, oops, I'm getting tangled up with that now. If you keep it in view, then it won't get tangled. And all you're doing is following the letter shape. All the way around. Right, I'm just going to move a few bits out of the way because I'm getting tangled up here. Right, try that again. You can even put this in a hoop. It might be easier in a hoop actually. I don't really sew with hoops, but you can if you find it easier. Okay, I'm just going to pull it straight a little bit because it's just puckering up a little bit. As long as you're not too rough with it, it'll be fine. When you get to a corner, I've gone in before the corner, before the turn, just before it starts to turn. Then I'm going to go to the top of the turn, to the top of the bend of your letter, and do the next one. Go around. And then back where the bend kind of finishes before it starts to go straight again. That way you'll just get the same, bend as what you've drawn. And then you can start going straight again. Even when I'm doing straight stitch and I'm doing, it's smaller letters really that get quite awkward, I will couch the curves sometimes. You just get a better letter. I will show you when we come to that. I'll do some smaller ones. This is quite a fast way of doing letters. As long as you've got it on the line, you can actually work on the top and not do the stabbing stitch, but actually work just on top. Work on top as it, or you can go through and pull your needle through like that. That's a stabbing motion. Or you can just do I think it's called sewing motion on top, which is you're not reaching underneath for your threads. A needle. Okay, so here again we've got a curve, so I'm going to go to the start of the curve, which is about there, and then I'm going to do the top of the curve, or the bottom of the curve even in this case, and then back starts about there. Okay, so you can just maneuver it around, manipulate it a little bit with your needle or your finger, just to get it to lie how you want it to lie. And then we're back again. We're still going round a little bit, but as long as you don't take 2 big stitches, you'll be fine. Okay, so going up here. It's a dull old day here. It's been rain. Is it still raining? It might just have stopped. I have got my light on. I hope you can see clearly. I am by the window, but it is just a dull day today. We've had lots of rain. We actually had hail last night. It was hailing. It was bouncing off the car and the driveway. Again, you see the top of the H, I have couched it down there, and then we're back on kind of like the straightish bit where there's not too much of a curve. Okay, right, what I'm going to do now is, because we're getting close to the end, which is here, I'm going to go in, try not to tangle everything up. Okay. Right, I'm just tangled, I'm just trying to get untangled. Okay, right. Going to leave it a second just so I can do a couple more couching stitches, fact, I've not done that quite right. Let me just, or have I pulled it? I think I've pulled it. There we go. Okay, so in fact I haven't done it right. I can see my pencil line. It should have gone out a little bit. Not to worry. Right, there's my pencil line. Because the lighting isn't quite that good in here at the moment. Okay, so I'm going down to the curve. Put my thread down. Okay, I'm going into the bottom of my curve, which is somewhere there. And I think just one more will do it, near the end. Okay, that is it. So all I'm going to do now is tie a knot. I'm using the 2 different strands. There, just tied a knot. I'm just going to trim that. There we go, there's the H. Okay, so that's the first type of stitch that I would use. Now I'm going to show you a back stitch. So with my back stitch, I'm going to use this the 6 strands, and I'm going to do the E. So this is quite a quick stitch as well, I suppose. Because I'm using the thicker thread. Don't have to worry about covering those pencil marks up, because they're definitely being covered up. You could do different colours as well. You don't have to keep with the same colour. So this is just a simple back stitch. As long as you don't take too large a stitch around the corners, you'll be fine. Sorry if you can hear talking in the background. My husband's at work. He's on the phone. Right, so that is the E. Just take care to go around those corners. Just make sure your stitches aren't too big. Just check that that's right. Yep, that looks great. Okay, so I'll just finish that off. I suppose you can just go direct to the next letter. If you haven't got, if your fabric's not too thin, you can just carry over to the next letter. Right, okay, so the next stitch I'm going to do is a stem stitch. So you start there. It's basically, I always think of it as basically a reverse back stitch. It's kind of like the reverse of the back stitch. So wherever you start the back stitch, you kind of do it opposite, if that makes sense. It probably doesn't, and if it doesn't make sense to you, then just ignore me. That's just how how I think of it, and it helps me start off, because sometimes I'm thinking, right, which way am I supposed to start? How am I supposed to... Once you get the first stitches done, it's okay, you can get into a rhythm, but sometimes I have a mental blockage and I'm like, what do I do? The only problem with stem stitches, it is quite tricky to get around the corner sometimes. Once you get onto a straight, then it's fine. This is quite a thick thread to do stem stitching. I should probably have, I would probably prefer to do it in a three strands would be better. So it's ending up quite thick. I won't take it undone, but if I was just doing this at home without the camera on, I would probably undo it and do it in 3 stitches, because I think this is, it just looks a little bit too thick, maybe. Okay, so that's that. There is the stem stitch that I've used before and that I quite like. But as I say, on big letters it's fine. On smaller letters I do find it a little bit to get around the corners, it can sometimes be a little bit difficult. But you can always, what you could do is if that wasn't laying right, you could always come along and with the same thread just do a little couching stitch over there. Let me show you now. I'll do it in this, but I would prefer to do it in the exact same thread, to be honest. So all you would do is just come up and just manipulate where you want your thread to be, where you want your line to be, and that will just put it into place for you. I've just unthreaded my needle. Yeah, so just a tiny little, cheeky little couching stitch will just hold it down. And then you can just finish that off. Okie dokie. So next, what I'll do is I'm going to just make that thinner. So I'm going to use 3 strands rather than 6. When you're separating strands, it's always best to do them one at a time. That way you don't get the knottage, whatever it's called. They don't knot as much as if you're trying to get all 3 out. And also when you're stitching with them afterwards, when you're stitching with them, the thread lies a lot neater. Lie a lot neater than if you just kind of separate them. Do you know what I mean? Let me show you. I'll get another one. So if you've got this and you wanted, I don't even think there's 6 here, but if you were doing that and do that, can you see how it's knotting? I mean, I'm lucky this time. I think it's going to, there you go, it has done it, but sometimes you did get big knots in it and it's hard to untangle, so you best do them one at a time, do them singly. Right, so next I am going to do another back stitch, and then I'm going to, I don't know what it's called, where you feed it back through. I'll show you. I can't remember the name of it. I'm sure there is a name. It makes it a nice finish. Again, just be careful around your... oh, I'll tell you what I'll do. No, I won't. I'm going to do on the small letters. I was going to do... ignore me. There, I've got around the corner. And then... down to the bottom. I hope you're all well today. I don't think I've asked, sorry. Yes, I hope you're all well today and you're finding your own time to stitch and or do whatever it is you'd like to do. As I say, it's a dull old day today, so I can't even peg my washing out at the moment. Hopefully it'll brighten up later. I mean, we are in mid-June, so it would be nice to think we might get some sunshine, but who knows. Right, okay, so we've done that. And what I'm going to do is come back up here. And then what I do is with the end of my needle, and then it's not got a point on, so I'm not going to be catching anything, you just weave your thread in and out of your stitches. You can also do this in a different colour. It gives a nice finish. If you haven't pulled your threads too tight, stitches too tight. And now I'm trying to think, what other stitch can I use for that O? I can't think of another stitch off the top of my head now. That's how well prepared I was for this video. I thought, oh, I'm doing well, I've got all my ideas, but obviously I haven't. Right, we've got to try and just try again. That's okay. Where were we? So just in and out, following your stitches back up. I'm sure someone will tell me the name of this, because I cannot remember it off the top of my head. Right, down that one, up that one, through that one, down that one. Bit tricky when they cross over, but I think we're there. And down that one, through that one rather. Okay, so we're at the end, and then I'm just going to go through the end and finish. That would do. Through the end and finish off. Oops. Okay. There we go. So it just gives a little bit of a different take on the back stitch. So being as I can't think of another. What other stitch could I use? No, nothing's coming to me. I'm going to do another back stitch. No, I'm not. I'm going to do stem stitch. I'm going to show you stem stitch, which I wasn't very happy with the width of that one. I'm going to show it in three pieces. So I'm going to start here. Yeah, so this is 3 strands rather than the 6 strands, and you can see, then you'll be able to see the difference. Right, here comes the tricky bit to get around those corners. There we go. round to that one. And we're going round here. Right, I'm just going to have to pop off because the doorbell's just gone. I'll be back in a second. Right, I am back. Oops, Daisy. Okay, so we were going around that corner. Okay, and then we're just going to go round and do that little bit of a flick on the end. One more. There we go, and then just back in. Just finish that off, and then we can have a compare. At the different ones. Again, I'm not entirely happy about how that's laying, so I will go back and do a little bit of a couch on it. There's also the bottom of that L I don't like. To knot in the thread now. Right, so this L here I don't like. It's not laying okay, so I'm going to pop a little stitch in that one. Like so, that you cannot see. That was not a very good knot at all. And the bottom of that O I don't like. It turned out quite right. So just a little bit of an adjustment down there. There we go. Happy, happy, happy. I now like it. And that's all you have to do. If something is not to your liking, then you can just alter it, then alter it. It doesn't matter at all. There we go. So that's how I do letters. And these stitches that I use for letters. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you, I'm just going to grab a bit of scrap fabric. Let me just, and what I'm going to do is show you some smaller letters. Is that going to rip? There, ripped it. Just show you some smaller letters. Because they are, the smaller you go, the harder they are. I find anyway. Other people might not. It's just my opinion. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, there you go, I'm just going to write my name, okay? Because you might write somebody's name on a birthday card, or you might sign your name, something like that. So, although we've got two L's again, haven't we? I wanted to do some different letters, but you've got the S and the A and the Y that are all different. So I'm going to do 2 strands of just a DMC type thread. I don't know whether it is DMC or not. It's not got any labels on any longer. And I'm just going to backstitch. So the S will be quite easy because it's quite a large letter, really. It's not mega. I should have done a small one actually. And I'm going to show you what I do when I can get to a corner that's a little bit too tight. Okay, this isn't too tight, really. I can get all the way around, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I do. So you come up there, go down here, so you've got like the arc of where you want to stitch. Then come up here, it's almost a couch, well it is a couch. So you're coming up here, and then you're going to grab your thread once it gets to a certain point. and go over. Go back near to where you've just come up from. Right, that's not quite right. Just didn't pull it tight enough. There you go. And then you've got your curve. I'm just going to, because I didn't lay that flat enough, it's not quite. I will show you again, because this is not, it's not the best example at all. Right. Okay. Not the best example. Ignore that one. We'll do another one. If I was just doing this on my own, I would unpick that and start again. But I'm going to finish this, and then the A will be where I will show you again. Actually, I might show you on the curve of this S. Can you see this S, how it curves a little bit? So I'm going to go there. And then I've got a little bit of a curve here. So again, come up where the last stitch lies. Go down where you want your stitch to end. Right. Okay. Leave a little bit of a tail. Come up where the curve is. Go down just to where you've come up from. There, that one's much better. And it's like a little couching stitch. You can manipulate it a little bit. And it just gives that little bit of a bend that you don't have to struggle to get round. Let me try it on the A's. Okay, so I'm going to start at the top. This is going to be quite easy to go down. So I'm going to go down to the point where it starts to curve at the bottom. Okay, which is there. So I'm going to come up at the last stitch, down where I want my stitch to end, and that's like the end of the curve. There, pull it. You can almost pull it straight, because then you can pull it back, which I think I didn't do on when I did the first one. So come up where the bend of your A is, your curve, and then use your needle just to manipulate your thread. Go back down quite near to where you came up. There you go, and you've got your curve. You don't really have to struggle to get around those corners. It's just a little bit easier, and I think it gives it quite a neat finish. So here again, I'm just going to go from here. Hang on, I'm trying to think where I finished. There, the start of my curve. To where the end of my curve is, somewhere there. Okay, then you can come, what you can do is you can bring your needle to that bend, and that will stop your thread from moving, and then there. I'll show you again on the L's. So we'll go up to the top. These are just straight stitches again, just basic back stitch. That one. Okay, so the start of the curve. That's right, I've got my finger caught in my needle. Okay, the thing is, don't take too much. So don't go right to there, because you can see how there's a curve there. If you go to there, it's probably going to end up as a V. So just go to about there. Then if you come up in the middle of your curve. I'll catch your thread. And then down again. You get that curve. And then you can treat that as a straight rather than a bend. There. I thought I'd just knotted it for some reason. Okay. It's a bit of a large stitch. Never mind. Okay, so again, start of your curve. I'm going to treat that as the end of my curve, that is my middle of my curve. And then just tie that down. And then we'll go up here. I think I might need to do two actually. I'm just going to make my Y a little bit taller. Okay, so start of my curve, going to end my curve. I'm going to end it about there, so that's the middle. Back in. And I'm going to go up here. And what I'm going to show you is that Y doesn't look that fancy, so I'm going to make it more fancy. So go down, just back stitch. Again, this is all back stitch apart from the little couching of the curves. Okay, so I'm going to start on the curve. The end of the curve, up halfway, back down, start of the curve. I'm just going to make a curve up, start of the curve, end of the curve, middle of the curve. Oh, cooking with gas now, aren't we? Really rolling. There we go. Got a little curve on that. Should we do one more? Start of the curve. Let's end the curve here. It's probably a little bit too big, but never mind. Middle of the curve. There we go. Just make the Y a little bit more fancy. So you don't even have to draw. And anything you do, you can always unpick it if you don't like it or it doesn't look right. So there, that's how you do smaller letters. You can go smaller than that, but I try not to. But yeah. So anyway, I hope that's helped and hope you found this video useful. I do appreciate you watching and commenting and liking and subscribing. Thank you so much to everyone who does all of that and communicates with me. It's lovely to hear what you're doing, and yeah, so thank you so much. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you again soon. So take care in the meantime. Okay, bye bye.